Hi, this is Module 1, Section 2, and here we're going to discuss scales a bit. Scales determine the tone or the energy of a song. So like if I have a song in the key of C major playing against a C chord, I'll have a certain amount of a feel. If I was in the key of A minor playing an A minor scale, I would again have a different feel. If I was in blues, say an E blues, I'd play the E blues scale. And then I'd have that kind of energy. In Spanish guitar music, quite often we use what's called the Phrygian Mode. And that's nothing to get freaked out about at all. All it really is say if I was using my C major scale, which doesn't have any sharps or flats in it, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, but I start on the E note of that, still be the natural notes, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Now if I use that against an E chord, there's a certain energy that happens that sounds quite flamenco-ish, like I'll just play some natural notes against the E. So these are all going to be natural notes against the chords. And so that's how I get that flamenco sound. And so the practice would be, and it's a real good finger practice too, is to go up playing the E Phrygian mode, which is in tab written for you there. And now it's good practice, it's really good training to make sure that you use good fingering with the left hand. And so now if I'm going across first position, which means anything open to fourth fret, if it's on the first fret, I'll use my first finger. Second fret, second finger. Third fret, third finger. Fourth fret, baby finger. And chances are if it's on the fifth fret, I would also use my baby finger. And with the right hand, it's a good idea to finger pick going up this. So have your thumb for 6, 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1 designated fingers. Now, some flamenco players, they integrate in their playing what's called a rest stroke. If you so choose, you could try that also. It's not part of this course, but you can certainly try it if that's something that you want to mess around with. And what a rest stroke would be is, other than if you're playing on the 6th string, you just rotate index finger and then middle finger back and forth. The reason they call it a rest stroke is you rest the finger on the next string after. So for instance, if I'm playing on the first string here, rotating, my thumb would rest on, and then you just go like that, back and forth. That's called a rest strokes. And so you could do that if you want. What I suggest doing though is play like this, is the correct fingers of the left hand, and then with this play with the fingers and thumb designated to the correct fingers. So, and try to be right on your fingertips. Now when I go up to 5, I'm going to play with my baby finger if I go back from there. So in other words, if I'm staying in first position. Now the tab that we have in Module 1, Section 2 goes up to 12th fret. So that being the case, what we do is we play first position like this. Now watch what happens when I get to 3rd fret. I'm going to make a change now, and I'm going to use my index finger for 5, and then my ring finger for 7, baby finger for 8, and then now really when you're playing, it depends where you're going from there. You could use your baby finger for 10 and 12, or you could switch around and use your index finger for 10 and then your ring finger for 12. And it's, you know, see when you're really playing around a lot, like it depends what you're doing. So like there I'm going really quick, yeah, so it depends on where you're going, where you're aiming for, which you would do. So there's really not too much of a right or wrong. And that's something that I have to keep emphasizing. Because if something feels really right to you, like for instance, if we're going up the Phrygian Mode, and now you're getting to the 8th fret and you're on your baby finger, if you feel it's right for you to go baby finger 10 and 12, do so. If it feels right to go index finger, then middle finger to go 10, 12, great. The way I'm going to do it here is I'll go play my baby finger up there. So I'm going to go up and down the E Phrygian Mode. These are just the natural notes. Now notice how I keep my hands close to the fretboard. And when I was playing on the treble strings of the right hand, I was resting my thumb. So when I'm like up here on the first string, if I'm doing things, I'll rest my thumb there. And also if I was like doing a lot of bass, I would rest my fingers on their strings. That's okay to do that. Now the A harmonic minor scale is the only difference with that. First off, an A natural minor scale is simply the C major scale, but starting from A minor. So it would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And the Phrygian mode is really the same, only to be technical, we're starting from an E note for E Phrygian. But for all intents and purposes, the A natural minor scale and E Phrygian are the same. Because they're both just the natural notes. Now we have something called an A harmonic minor scale. And the only difference with that one is rather than the G note, the G is now sharp. And so, you know what, I'll show you why. Usually when we're playing in minor keys or in the Phrygian mode, we want this E major chord, but yet we want the chords of the A minor, the relative chords. Like for instance, in A minor is of course the root. D minor is really good. F chord, G chord, and there's one bigger one here, and that's E. Here comes E. See how well that fits? And now the thing is though, is in this E chord, there is a G sharp note. And so that's why we make that difference in calling them with the scales. So like, for instance, if I'm playing some lead, if I'm kind of running around, now right here I'm going to play G sharp, which really makes sense. Whereas if I was doing runs like this, I might not use that G sharp. So the only reason we really have what's called the A harmonic minor scale is so that we have a way of saying, yes, there is a G sharp in there. Personally, the way I think of it is I don't really think Phrygian or minor when I'm actually playing. I just think, okay, all the natural notes But if I'm on the E chord, or the E chord itself is being implied, in that moment, I'll play G sharp rather than G natural. And if this seems to be going over your head a little bit, don't worry about it. It's okay. As we go through the course, it'll make a lot more sense. So here is the A harmonic minor scale. So all I'm doing is going up the natural notes starting from A. And when I go by a G note, rather than play G, I play G sharp. And again, you want to use the correct fingers, both hands. So here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. A, B, C, D, E. Now, to be real technical, I could keep going. F, G sharp, A. I stopped it when I wrote the tab. Actually, I went up, but I was thinking that, and mentioning here, and I wanted to mention it, that if your guitar, if it's hard to get up that far, don't worry about it. Stop at 12. Okay, so that's the A harmonic minor scale, and they're good things to know because they help you when you're playing, of knowing what notes to go by. By the way, just for fun, I'll show you how I got that little bit of speed there. When I'm going up like that, all I do is I just played with this hand. I played the string once, and then I just played the open one, and then hammer on like this, and then the next one. So another good practice for hammering on and pulling off is this. And in this case, what I'm doing is playing the 4-string 2nd fret E. I just played it once with this hand, and then I hammer it on, and then I actually kind of pick with that second finger here to pull it off. And so that keeps it going. So you could go on forever if you wanted. Another one is with the open and then the 2-3. Sometimes people do this here. You'll hear some really fast stuff. And in that case, all I'm doing is I'm doing 3 notes, well, 2 notes, then a pull off. In that case, I went 7th fret, pulled off the 4th fret, and then open. And then 1 fret higher, and 2 frets higher. These are all things you can play around with if you so choose. As part of section 2, really what's important is to know the Phrygian mode and the A harmonic minor. And enjoy!